Hey, what's up guys, welcome back to the channel. So in this video I want to address some of the skepticism that I'm seeing around Nikola Motors and the entire EV industry in general, specifically from Tesla investors, where I'm seeing a lot of people become extremely skeptical about basically every other EV stock in the market aside from maybe Tesla, primarily because Tesla has gone up, over 1,500% in a year's time or so. And although that is impressive, people need to realize that just because Tesla is the leader in the EV space doesn't mean that we're not going to get other companies in this space as well, in terms of growth, adoption, profitability, all that good stuff. We're going to see an expansion in the EV industry, and right now that expansion has been accelerated because of stimulus checks, because of the pandemic, and because of consumer spending basically being at like an all-time high. So my point is that we need to really address the entire EV industry and look at these companies, these pre-revenue companies specifically, from a much higher level point of view. And specifically I want to address Nikola Motors, which is a company I'm sure you guys have obviously heard of. I talk about this company quite a bit on my channel because I'm very excited about what this company is approaching in terms of their market opportunity, their execution ability, and the big problem that they're trying to solve. Now, obviously in the short term and over the past year or so, investing in Nikola seems like kind of a joke, right? Because in September 2020, we had this article come out where specifically Trevor Milton was exposed through Hindenburg Research and their big short report that came out. And although I really appreciate what that report was signaling to investors in that time, we're seeing that sentiment for some reason still continue on to this date, even though the bull case for Nikola has significantly improved over the past year and a half. So I want to kind of address that a little bit, and I want to go over some of the big reasons why I am personally bullish on Nikola, and obviously some of the risks as well that come with investing in a company like Nikola, because obviously we're going to have a lot of people that are going to either make a lot of money on Nikola or lose a lot of money on Nikola, and both of these people at the end of the day are going to come to people like me who've been chanting about Nikola for a very long period of time. And for some reason, people still seem to associate Nikola's success with the stock price, which has basically gone down since February 2021, which is also when basically every growth tech and EV stock also went down, apart from Tesla and some of the big mega cap companies. So Tesla is very much separated from a lot of the other EV stocks that are literally in pre-revenue stages right now. And that doesn't mean that these stocks are trash. In fact, there's an opportunity here because, as we all know, most of the wealth for startup companies in general is made when they're pre-revenue. You need to think about startup companies as companies that are trading on a stock exchange, except that whenever their stock goes up, it goes up by 50 to 100% each step, because that is how it operates in the pre-public stages for most public companies. That's where billionaires are made. That's where CEOs, founders, and the executives of a company get rich, because they have a certain amount of shares in their company and they're not able to sell those shares until their stock goes public. And their entire wealth is built in that period that the company is private. And most of the times, these companies are private either when they're pre-revenue or either when they're in very, very early stages of revenue and adoption. So this is something people need to realize. And what SPACs and what these pre-revenue companies in the stock market today are giving you the opportunity for are to invest in companies at a very early stage. Now, obviously, a lot of these companies are going to fail, and people need to realize that. And some people are still not realizing that. Some people are still holding a lot of these stocks that have deteriorated their business model over the past year or so, and they're still holding these stocks that are down 80-70%. Now, obviously, Nikola is one of them, but Nikola's business has actually improved, where they've gotten customer deliveries, they've gotten more backing from established companies like Anheuser-Busch, and obviously they've conducted their testing for both their battery and their fuel cell electric prototypes. So, although I agree with a lot of the sentiment that not every EV stock is going to make it, I disagree with the fact that every EV stock outside of Tesla is going to be bankrupt. I think that is simply not the reality, and I think a lot of people are delusional to think that. And unsurprisingly, a lot of these comments are actually coming from people who are bullish on Tesla. A lot of people in the Tesla community are basically acting like Tesla is a stock that you cannot lose money on, simply because the stock has gone up a lot over the past couple of years. But I think that's besides the point. I think that a lot of the hate for companies in the pre-revenue EV stage is definitely very, very much not needed. And people need to realize that these are high risk, high rewards. There's no fun in life if you're not going to take risks, and if you're not going to be a contrarian. There is no fun in life if you're not going to do that. And that's what Nikola is kind of an opportunity for some people, is if you want to be a contrarian investor, meaning you want to buy when most people are bearish and most people hate the company, then you're getting a pretty good deal on this company right now. now. If you're an investor in SPACs and pre-revenue companies like Nikola, you have to treat them like you're a venture capitalist or you're a private equity investor in these companies at a very early stage, because that's essentially what you're doing. You're getting the opportunity to be a part of these companies at a very early stage, and it's your job to analyze the execution ability of the company, the market opportunity, the big growth opportunity, and obviously the big opportunity for partnering with other businesses, getting bought out, all that stuff. And some people simply just don't understand that, and they're spreading a lot of hate and fear around pre-revenue companies. And if you understand the risk, that hate and fear just is not needed. That's kind of my bottom line on what's been going on in the EV community over the past year or so. I want to kind of get that off my chest and just explain my thoughts on why I'm personally, accumulating Nikola shares. And even if it goes down to $5, $4, I don't really care unless there's something very, very fundamental change in the business. And if there is, if somehow they're not able to deliver on their trucks, they lose customers and whatnot, then yeah, I'll gladly admit that I'm wrong. I don't really care. I have multiple other investments that'll make up for it. And generally, I think we need to be a little bit more caring in the EV community, because at the end of the day, we're all investing in high growth companies. We're all investing with our own hard earned money. So let's be a little bit more caring and responsible for other people's opinions and other people's investments. And I think generally that should prosper a lot more activity and participation in the EV community in general. I actually heard this quote a couple of weeks ago, and I think it stands very much true today, which is that Tesla investors love EV stocks and love EVs that are made by Tesla only. They don't like any other EVs, even though the impact and the environmental impact and the mission is pretty much the same for every single EV company out there. And that just really goes to show that there is a cult mentality that has been built into Tesla investors specifically. And I hope that doesn't turn out to be the case with Nikola if Nikola ends up being a successful business over the next couple of years. But nonetheless, that's a very exciting and a very interesting quote that I heard a couple of weeks ago. And as can be clearly seen through articles published like this, where basically we're seeing Tesla investors put out hit pieces against Nikola Motors, it's pretty clear that there is a lot of hate against this company simply because Nikola is trying to solve a big problem that so far a company like Tesla just has not been able to. It seems like a lot of people are treating stock market investing as a game where one stock is going to outperform the other and there's going to be no in between. And these people seem to care more about their stock performances and how a competitor is performing rather than looking at the bigger picture impact of what that specific company is actually doing. And obviously every single truck that Nikola is selling is offsetting one diesel truck off the road, which is extremely pollutive and extremely noisy. And so very clickbaity articles like these, which are basically reiterating exactly what we've already known for the past year or so and are actually adding more FUD and fear on fake information about this company, really goes to show that the EV community today is much more divided than it really should be. At the end of the day, our goal is to reduce carbon emissions and support companies that are getting pollutive vehicles off the road instead of worrying about which company is going to outperform the other one. And funnily enough, even though Electric is a very popular EV news outlet, most of their coverage revolves around Tesla. And ironically enough, the author of that specific article has a Tesla Roadster as his background and also seems to be very concerned about Tesla FSD, Elon Musk, and hating on other EV companies like Nissan, Toyota, and Honda. And it's definitely very clear that someone is very offended by their competitors when they have to call the other company's investors bag holders. And it's very interesting that this article is making it seem like Nikola is going bankrupt or that this is the end of Nikola, which obviously is not the case because the company has indeed been hiring like crazy. Because you would think that if a company was trying to be a scam or pull off a fraud, that the company would be closed doors, not hire anybody, and keep all the money for its executives. And as you guys can see, that is definitely not the case there, and Nikola is clearly executing on their business so far very well, and I'm definitely very excited to hear what they say on their progress in their earnings call on February 24th. But anyways guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know down in the comment section below what you guys thought of what I said in this video. I'd be interested in hearing both the bear and the bullish case, I guess you could say, on this specific video in my opinions. But just keep in mind guys, these are just my opinions. You don't have to follow what I'm doing. You don't have to hate if you don't like Nikola. Just click off the video right now. And yeah, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Take care.